You tune into the Sportscast with Brian, Craig, and Jeff. Give you all the sports news you need. We give you outspoken thoughts about all the headlines. We talk baseball, football, hockey, and more. No matter the topic, we cover it. Get ready for the show and keep it outspoken. Keep it outspoken. We keep it outspoken only on the Sportscast. Tune into the Sportscast with Brian, Craig, and Jeff. Give you all the sports news you need.
Hello, everyone. Welcome in to Watson's Playbook. All right, guys, welcome into episode number 12 of Watson's Playbook. I appreciate you guys jumping on and taking a listen. We did an episode last week going over just different things. We started a new segment called The Fifth Down. We will continue to do that. And then our little main dish. And last week, the main dish was talking about how Corona it has affected sports and what kind of sports look like. But today, the main dish is going to be what sports will be affected most by the BLM support and protests going on. So we'll get into that in a little bit here. We got the Fifth Down segment coming up, and I'm going to tell you a little bit what's going on with my life, though. A couple weeks ago, I was on vacation, and that was kind of why there wasn't a Watson's Playbook episode put out in between then. But we decided to go on vacation, and it was more of a staycation type of thing. We planned on going to Utah before Corona hit, and then Corona all hit, and we decided that we would just stay home and kind of hang out with kids. And so we did a staycation, and those could be great. You know, I get up early for work, so just being able to stay up later and sleep in during the day a little bit was great, instead of waking up at 2 a.m. to go to work. So that was good. So what we did on vacation is we just hung out with the kids. Thursday night of that week, we went to the hotel room, me and the wife, and just had some us time, and we went out to eat a couple times and enjoyed at least one day by ourselves to have our own time. So that was good. But I joke with my wife all the time that we have a vacation curse, I like to call it. Every time we go on vacation, something happens. It's happened. It's every time we go, something's happened to us, whether it be a flat tire, kids getting sick, and everything else. So, for example, the first time we went on vacation as a family, it was me, my wife, and Darla. And Darla was only, I think, like 3 years old, maybe less than that. Yeah, she was less than that. She was maybe a year and a half, 2 years, somewhere around that area. And she was learning how to kind of walk and stand up. And so we went to Utah to visit my brother-in-law. And little did we know at the time, he turned on his inside fireplace. That's electrical little fireplace. And Darla ended up touching it and burning both of her hands. And so we had to take her to the doctor. Doctor, told us to wrap her hands up and just keep on wrapping them. And then we had to go the next day. They weren't getting any better. We went to the hospital. We almost had to go to a burn unit, but they were able to sedate her a little bit there, pop the bubbles, take care of it. And then so that happened. It kind of put a damper on the whole trip. We were spending all these times in the doctors in the hospital, and we thought we were going to have to go to the burn unit in Salt Lake City, and we spent a lot of money at the doctor's office, and it just kind of put a damper on the whole trip. Not to mention we're stressing out and worrying about our daughter's hands, and when she grows up, is it going to cause any issues, which thank God that didn't. And she was pretty much a trooper through that. So we drove back home. Next time we went on vacation, we drove back up to Utah. We planned on staying with a friend, and Phoebe gets the flu and gets sick. We had to basically stay in our hotel room. We were up there. We had to get a hotel, which we weren't planning on paying for. So that kind of put a damper on the whole trip, and we ended up spending more money than we wanted to. The next time we went on vacation, we went down to Austin, and we were going to stay with some family, and it was just a cheap vacation. Drive down to Austin real quick. It's not too far from where I live in Fort Worth, and just staying with family, so I'm not paying for a hotel. I just got to supply gas and food. Get down there, first night I get a flat tire. I have to replace 2 tires, which we already spent money on tires before we went down to vacation. And we get down there and we had a flat tire, and I had to buy 2 brand new tires, and we ended up spending like $350 on tires. And it took all our money. So basically that we set aside just for some food and gas. Went back home too shortly after that, and so every time we end up going on vacation, it seems like something goes wrong. And we went last year to Arizona to see my brother get married, my brother-in-law get married, and my wife ends up getting food poisoning, and she got sick. So something always happens, right? And I call it the vacation curse. So I told my wife, every time we go on vacation now, we're going to call it business trips. It's a family business trip because the vacation word to us is cursed. I don't know. I don't get it. Just something always continues to go wrong when we go on vacation. Well, this time we went on vacation. It was a staycation. Everything was going good. Unfortunately, my grandma, she has been in a rehabilitation home, almost a retirement home, and she's not been doing too good. So we set it up where we could go see her on Saturday. It was basically of that week, our time to say goodbye to her. We knew she was on the downhill. They told us she's not going to live much longer. So we decided on that Saturday we were going to go up and say our goodbyes, and which is obviously a difficult time, right? Saying goodbye to anybody, knowing that they're close to death, is difficult. And then we got the whole Corona thing where we couldn't go inside. We had to say goodbye through a window. I couldn't even give her a hug. That was tough. That was tough to deal with. We were emotional, and I just said my goodbyes and everything I wanted to say to her, and thanked her for all she taught us and everything she did for us. And I just told her it's okay to go home. It's okay to let go. We know you're ready to go. That night, after we got done with that, I ended up having a flat tire on the way to say goodbye to Grandma. So there's the flat tire of the vacation. That was a tough moment for us. And then we came back home and kind of hung out as a family, and we grilled some burgers in honor of my grandma. And that night, my grandma actually passed away, and I'm grateful that I was able to say goodbye to her. And that's one thing I always told my wife is we just want to say goodbye. I feel like Corona's taken that. I feel like Corona happened, and we weren't able to take my kids up there to see her. She loved her grandkids, or her great grandchildren. She loved them. She did so many things for them. And when Corona hit, we couldn't go visit her. I feel like it took some time away from us to go visit her. And I told my wife, as long as I get to say goodbye. So I thank God that I was able to say goodbye. It was almost like she was waiting for us to come say her goodbyes and see us one last time before she decided to let go. And now she's in heaven, and she's living at peace and no more pain. So that happened that week. So I had a lot on my mind the following week, and I really didn't feel like putting out an episode. I was thinking about that. I was thinking about the whole decision on what we're going to do with our children. And are we going to send them to school? Are we going to keep them home? Do we want to homeschooling through something else? Do we want to do homeschooling through the school? Do we feel comfortable sending them back to school? That's a decision that's weighing on all parents' minds right now here in America. I'm guessing all around the world. But so we decided that we're going to keep Darla in Keller schools, but we're going to homeschool her through their online classes like that, and see how that goes. And if it doesn't go very well, then we might try the actual ordering an actual K through 12, the K-12 program, homeschooling, and try it that way as well. And I think there's benefits for the homeschooling, because if you're sending your kid to school, it's very dangerous right now. If you're doing the homeschooling through the schools and they end up shutting down for 4 months or whatever because COVID, what's going to happen? So I feel like with the K through 12 program, homeschooling program, which is free, I feel like it's something you would never have to shut down. It's something where you're going to get your accrued year in, and it's not going to be affected really if you're homeschooling, and it'll count. And so there's just a lot of up in the air thing going on with the schools and what they're going to do to protect our children from getting coronavirus and all that stuff. So, pray for all those parents out there, because it's a tough decision. There's some schools have come out and said we're not starting until the 28th. We're not allowing kids to come on campus till the 28th. Just a lot of stuff up in the air, and they want us to make an educated decision on what we're going to do because they need to get a numbers count, which I totally understand. But they're always going back and forth on this between the state and who has the legislation to make the rules. And the Texas said this is going to happen, and then 2 days later they come out and say no, that you don't have the right to do that. So it's going to be down to each individual school district on when they're going to start, what the rules are going to be. So there's a lot of confusion for us parents to make an educated decision based on all this confusion that you guys are putting out there. So I think they got to get their act together for us to be able to make a better decision for our children. Not only that, I got in a hit and run accident in February. A driver ran through a red light and hit me, and I hit another vehicle. And then he took off running on foot. He pulled over, got out of his car, and ran on foot. Obviously, police can't find him. They still haven't been able to find him. It's just been a big mess. So I said, I'm going to take my truck in. I'm going to pay my deductible, and they're going to fix my truck. Well, it turns out they totaled my truck. So they paid, I was insured, and they paid me more money than I bought the truck. So I was okay with it. Then I had the stress level of trying to find another vehicle that's going to be reliable for my family. And I found one. It's a Honda CRV. It's 2008, so it's a little older, but Hondas last a while as long as you take care of them. So I feel like I made a good purchase there. And we here in our family, we name our vehicles. So her name is Ivy because she is green. So that was pretty cool. But I'm glad that stress is out the window. And so I've been really busy and a lot of thinking and mentally thinking. And me and Jeff jumped on last week and put out a podcast. I'm doing this one by myself today. So before we jump into the fifth down here, we got some exciting news from PlayStation. This is going to be the side notes section here. Look forward to this month of more PS5 releases this month. More, they're rumored to release the price and more games this month. We might see a video on the new UI system they're going to use for the PlayStation 5. So this month could be a big reveal for the PlayStation 5. More games, maybe the price, and so look forward to that. And if that happens, it'll be covered here on Watson's Playbook. If you guys are excited about the PlayStation just as much as we are. All right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and jump into the fifth down here. 5 topics of the week before we get into the main dish. So first down here is the NBA bubble seems to be working. There's no positive tests. Since they started this bubble, since they brought everyone in, no positive tests. We talked about on the last episode of Watson's Playbook, in episode number 11, that the bubble idea that they came up with is probably the best way for sports to go. They can control it. They can manage who comes in and out. They can make their own rules for it. And I think that right now is the best opportunity for sports to succeed. We're 2 or 3 games into the 8-game regular season. I watched the Lakers beat the Clippers the other night. It was a good back and forth game. It was sloppy play because they're just getting back into the rhythm of things. But we played pretty good, and we won. Anthony Davis was a beast with 34 points. LeBron James had an off night there, but we were able to win. Of course, the Clippers didn't have Lou Williams coming off the bench because he decided to go to the strip club and missed 10. He has to be sidelined for 10 days, so he missed the openings. But we're not seeing. I was afraid we were going to see, because the Lakers have nothing to play for. They're going to be first place. They have nothing to play for right now. So I was afraid we were going to see some lackluster basketball games. But so far, we've seen some really good competitive games. The Mavericks and Rockets went into overtime the other night as the Rockets take care of business there. So we're seeing some competitive basketball right now. So that was good to see. Second down here, for a while there, I thought the baseball was working. I thought we were going to be good to go, but maybe it's not working. They've already postponed a lot of games due to the fact that they keep getting corona. The Marlins decided that they were going to go out and party it up one night, and they got infected with the coronavirus, and they had to cancel this and cancel that. They canceled a whole series this weekend of doubleheaders. I believe the Cardinals, they have a couple people that got the coronavirus. The Marlins had up to 17 people. So I don't know what they're going to do. They came out and said doubleheaders will be played to only 7 innings to help try and figure out the scheduling. But Rob Manfred's come out and said that they could shut down baseball if the players don't respond better to this. But we haven't seen, I thought they talked about having a reserve of players that if, this guy's got corona, we can just pick up a guy and continue to go. That hasn't happened. We haven't seen it. So I don't know what their plan is long-term, long-term is for baseball. But it doesn't seem like they're going to be able to finish the season. It's only 60 games. They're on a time crunch, and they're already canceled a bunch of games. So I'm interested to see what happens. I think there should be punishment for the Marlins. They are the ones that went out and partied in Atlanta when they played in the Braves, and they are the ones that started kind of this trickle-down effect of getting infected and causing a big uproar. And the Marlins aren't going to go anywhere anyways. Look, I mean, they're honestly one of the worst teams of baseball. They weren't taking this seriously. I think they should be punished. Heck, maybe even kick them out of the league this year because they're not going to do anything. But I don't know what they would do with the remaining schedules and everything going into that. So the Marlins were dumb and made a bad decision, and it's affecting baseball, and it's put a bad look on baseball and can it work? Whether the basketball bubble's working, the NHL's in a bubble. And I get that the baseball and the NFL really can't be in a bubble because you don't have enough stadiums together or fields. You don't have enough ballparks together and to be able to play in multiple games. Basketball has 3 courts where they can play 3 games a day on each. So they are taking care of hockey, the same kind of thing. So it doesn't look like MLB is working, and we could see a shutdown of Major League Baseball this season. So I hope not, but things have yet to get better there. They're kind of getting worse. So we're going to monitor that situation and see what happens. Third down here in this episode of Watson's Playbook is the Rangers lose Corey Kluber for 4 weeks. He lasted 1 inning, his debut. The Rangers made this trade last year, and they the off season, and they got Corey Kluber. Now Corey Kluber is a guy that has been a two-time Cy Young Award winner, and he is a really good baseball pitcher. But he got injured last year with a fluke injury, and the Indians gave him away to us. Basically, gave him away. We traded him 2 players that are not even worth mentioning: Delino DeShields, a backup, and a pitcher that's already been suspended because of steroids. So we didn't give up much for him. It was kind of a big news for us. We were going to have a third starter in this rotation to help this team have a chance to be better, where we can trust our pitching. He comes in, pitches 1 inning, and he's out for 4 weeks to be reevaluated. They've already said if he comes back, he will not be a starting pitcher. He might be in the bullpen, so you're not going to see much of him. And you probably won't see much of him next year because he has a 1 year option next year. If we pick it up, it's $18 million. I don't think we will, because of picking up an $18 million contract for a guy that is injury prone, a guy that hasn't played for you all season basically, and that you don't know what's going to be. It would be kind of stupid in my opinion, unless he opts out of that $18 million option and he's able to take a deal to stay here, a pay cut to kind of prove it deal to see what he has. Excuse me. Also on that, Verlander is also hurt, and they conflicting reports that he's going to be out the whole season, or he's going to be out 2 to 3 weeks. That's a big blow for the Houston Astros, regardless, because this baseball season 60 games, and they missing him for the whole year. That's huge, and they miss him for a couple weeks. That is a big deal, but not as big as the whole season, obviously. But with a 60 game shortened season, you cannot continue to lose multiple series in a row before you're looking at possible missing the playoffs. So I'm wondering if he's going to come back. There was conflicting reports. He said he's saying that it wasn't, but I'm going to go ahead and think he's out for the rest of the year. All right, here, 4th down. Joe Kelly is the hero we all need. So everyone hates the Astros, right? Unless you're an Astro fan. They cheated their way to a World Series. How embarrassing for an organization that the only time they've ever won anything was cheating. So I hate him here in Texas. And Joe Kelly was pitching for the Dodgers the other night. He threw after a couple of the batters in Houston, and he didn't even hit anybody. He came close. He ends up getting, I think he got ejected out of the game. I'm not sure if he got ejected out of the game, but baseball lays the 8-game suspension on Joe Kelly. And it's absolutely ridiculous. He didn't hit nobody, so I don't know really what the crime was. Baseball, Rob Manfred's a complete joke. He didn't have any balls to come down and suspend any Astros for cheating, even though they admitted to cheating. He didn't do anything to him. It's kind of like he's protecting the Houston Astros. 8 games in a 60-game season is huge for Joe Kelly to miss. That's a huge, I think it's the 13 or 20% of the games. They said the other day, I heard that on the radio, it's like 13% of the games. It's a huge miss for him. Joe Kelly did apologize after the game. Maybe he was talking trash to them, but I love it. I think it's something we all need. They're actually making shirts with Joe Kelly's face on it. As a hero we need. Rob Manfred is a joke. He is sticking behind the Astros, and he won't. It's kind of a funny situation because Rob Manfred is the reason why other baseball teams are going to be throwing at Astros batters, and we've already seen it this year. And because he didn't punish them, he didn't punish the Astros. Astros got away with nothing. And they got away, and they got away with no punishment, no slap. They didn't even slap him on the wrist, really. So Rob Manfred has opened up for how baseball. There's unwritten rules, and you are going to be getting beamed with baseballs. Now baseball's coming under hard stance and suspending Joe Kelly for 8 games, and they said it's because of the fact that his history shows he's done this before. Joe Kelly says he didn't intentionally throw the ball at nobody. So. Whether you believe Joe Kelly or not, they suspended him 8 games. It's a big suspension, especially for a 60-game shortened season. So Rob Manfred is quite a joke, in my opinion. He had no balls to punish the Astros, and he's going to stick behind them. So I think it's ridiculous, and I hope that this shortened season, I hope that us fans don't forget and the players don't forget that these guys cheated a way to the World Series. I hope next year, if we get back to a normal schedule in baseball, I hope that the fans, if we're fans are in the stands next season, I hope we let them hear it. I hope they continue to plunk the Astros batters, and I have no problem with that. So, because they're cheaters. So they get what they deserve. All right, fifth down here on the fifth down segment of this portion of our Watson's Playbook here. Pac-12 players threaten to opt out of season unless demands are met. Apparently, they have a list of demands they want to be met before they agree to play football. I don't know if this is every player or this is just an idea that they're going to do. There's apparently supposed to be a list of demands coming out tomorrow that are coming out on Monday that they want before they will play. Some of those demands are safety, because of the coronavirus. They want to be able to play safely, which I understand. They want to be able to fight for racial justice without being punished or anything like that. So I think that that can happen too. We've seen it all across sports right now anyways, so that should be a big deal. It says protect all sports, so I don't know really what they want to protect them from. I mean, I guess keep them going because the football revenue does pay for all the other sports. So I don't know if football is just saying, hey, guys, we want you to have the other sports regardless of what we're doing. I don't know what that, just protect all other sports. And here's the two other ones that I've heard of talked about that won't happen. They want economic rights, and they want to be paid for playing. They want to make sure they're reimbursed for playing this year because of COVID and everything else. It's not going to happen. NCAA is a crooked corporation. They are. We all know they're pretty crooked in a lot of things that they do. A lot of people are they don't like them, and I don't blame them. It's a big iffy on should they get paid to play football or sports in general. They just come out recently. I think it's going to start this year if there's any sports. Sorry. Excuse me. If there's any sports that they are going to be able to get paid for their likeness. So if a player is able to get an endorsement deal from Nike, or if a player is able to get sign and sell his autographs, you could do that now. Back in the day, you couldn't. You couldn't get paid any money for anything and when you're playing college football, but now they're going to allow that. So there's only going to be a certain select amount of players that are that profitable for someone to say, hey, this guy is a great player. He's going to get a lot of attention. Let's sign him to a shoe contract. Let's sign him to this contract. Let's have him come down to the local car dealership, put his face on our billboards. Only the select few, maybe 5%, maybe 10% of the league, but there's so many more that aren't going to get paid any money. So I'm guessing they want all players to be paid. I don't know. We'll find out more coming out this week. And then they want long-term health insurance. And I don't know how that would work because obviously you're talking about both of these last options is NCAA paying a lot of money to a bunch of people. Are they wanting health insurance for their 4-year college degree? If they're playing football for 4 years, as long as they're in college, they're covered. I don't know because I don't know how it's going to work. It says long term. So how long are they thinking? They can't. I don't think you can go play for Alabama for 4 years and then expect them to pay your insurance until you're way on in the future. I don't know what long term they're talking about what the cost of health insurance would cost for the NCAA to pay for, to offer to its players. I don't know. That's a lot of money when you're talking about that. So I don't think that's going to work. So we might see Pac-12 players sit out. We might see whole teams sit out. I don't know what's going to happen in the NCAA. A lot up in the air with sports this season, and especially college sports as well. And are we going to allow players to come back on campus and all that stuff? Some have already canceled some stuff. So I'm interested to see what these demands are going to lead up to and if the college football will agree to it. All right, guys, let's jump into the main dish here. And the main dish this episode number 12 is called. It's what sports will be affected most by the BLM support. Because as you know, Colin Kaepernick started some of this 4 years ago as he kneeled for the anthem, playing for the San Francisco 49ers. It's been a big deal ever since. He's been blackballed at the NFL. He hasn't played in the NFL, and he probably won't ever play in the NFL ever again. That was 4 years ago. There's a lot of people that weren't on board. Certain teams came out and said you will stand for the anthem. Some players knelt for the anthem back in the day. But this is no longer just a football issue, right? This is no longer just a football issue where it's just happened in football and other sports that's sticking away from it. This is every sport you see now. You're seeing it from soccer. You're seeing it from the NBA. You're seeing it from Major League Baseball. You're going to see it in the NFL. You're going to see it all over the place. You've seen it, I believe, in NASCAR. You've seen a lot of different things. And that's going to ruffle the feathers of a bunch of people. There's still people out there that think kneeling for the flag is so disrespectful that they refuse to watch sports. There's people out there that think it's perfectly fine. I don't know which side of the bubble you sit on, what side of the fence you sit on. I don't watch sports for a political view. I don't watch sports for anything else other than the love of sports. I love football. I'm going to watch football. I love basketball. I'm going to watch basketball. I love baseball. I'm going to watch baseball because I love the sport, period, end of story. I don't care how many people are kneeling for the flag. I don't care if they have BLM written on the mound in baseball. I don't care. I watch it because I am looking for the entertainment. I am looking for the getaway in life where I can just sit down and watch sports and not really think about all the other issues going on. And some people might say, well, it's hard to do that when it's all over the mound. Or people are kneeling for the anthem. Okay, well then don't watch baseball if you don't want to watch it. Don't watch football if you don't want to watch it. Turn off the part where they play the national anthem and turn it on in the first quarter. Whatever. I don't think it's that big of a deal. Now, the NBA is probably the biggest supporter of this. Most of the NBA is filled with people of color, black people. So they have been the most outspoken that I've seen of any other sport about this, to give a platform for the BLM movement. I don't think we'll see much drop off at all from the fans of the NBA where it actually is going to affect their numbers. And I haven't really heard a lot of negativity on all this stuff going on. With the fans or the fan base and through Facebook or whatever Facebook pages, that I haven't seen a whole lot of negativity. They're allowing the players to put different names on the back of their jersey or different standpoints on the back of their jersey, and they have Black Lives Matters across the court. And most teams, if not all of them, all the players are kneeling for the anthem. And it is what it is. I haven't heard much negativity about it. They're probably the people are still watching the basketball games. I don't think they're going to be much affected about it. They've pretty much been outspoken and allowed their players to be very outspoken in a lot of different areas. And they're trying to help the movement of the BLM. Now, Major League Baseball, this is the first time I've really seen them be as outspoken about a subject or whatever of movement, a way of life, however you want to call it. You don't really see this a lot in baseball. They don't let their players really show much emotion. There's a lot of unwritten rules that the players understand. And a lot of people that watch baseball they're a lot older white guys, and a lot of older white guys are set in their ways. So this could cost Major League Baseball viewers. But we talked about last week that it was the biggest opening day for Major League Baseball. So some people might not care as much as you think. Some people might just watch in because it's sports and we haven't had sports in forever. But some people are not going to watch baseball because of this movement, the BLM on the back of the mounds, different things like that they're contributing to it. They could really be affected by this. I don't know if they will. But this is really, to me, the first protest that I've seen in Major League Baseball where they've allowed these players and things to do things certain ways. The Texas Rangers came out the other day. They all kneeled before the anthem. Then they stood up during the anthem, and they all held a black rope or string to saying that they all are for equal rights in this country. The NFL, when this first happened with Kaepernick, we did see a drop off. And we did see a lot of drop off, but it wasn't enough to take, because the NFL is the most watched sport in America. It kills anything as far as ratings go, or stats go, who's watching what. It doesn't even compare. It did bring the numbers down a little bit, but it still didn't do that much of enough to affect them. And I just think that we could see it again, but I don't know, because I really think the tides are turning with football. They come out and admitted, Roger Goodell admitted the NFL was wrong for not listening to the peaceful protests. That didn't happen when Colin Kaepernick did this. And the owners didn't want nothing to do with it. Now Roger Goodell, the NFL commissioner, came out and apologized for NFL, saying we should have listened to our players. We should have let them peacefully protest. And that has been a big thing. And there's seen some NFL owners agree with that. And there's some NFL owners that won't agree with that. But I think the tides are turning, where if you don't let your players protest the way they want, or have a voice in this subject, it could go to hurt your team. So I think the tides are turning, especially with that apology from Roger Goodell, and you will see more protests this year. You'll have every team will be protesting and kneeling before the anthem or during the anthem, whatever, to get their message across. So the NFL, I think will have probably have the most ratings drop, because there's a lot more NFL fans, and when you get on the Facebook or the Twitter, and you get on those group accounts of your team or whatever, I see a lot of those people. Oh, I'm not watching NFL this year. Oh, I'm done with the NFL. Okay, we'll be done with NFL. It's not going to bother me. It's not going to bother us. I don't know if it's going to bother the NFL too much, because they're still going to make millions and millions of dollars, and they're still going to be the highest rated program, and people are still going to watch them. Like I said, I don't watch sports for political opinion. I just don't. That's the same thing as far as, let's boycott Chick-fil-A because they spend their money on such and such. I don't care. If I want a chicken sandwich, I'm going to Chick-fil-A. If I want to go to Walmart and shop for something, I go to Walmart and shop for something. Doesn't mean I got to believe all the beliefs that they believe or whatever they're doing. I just go because I need it, and I go because I want it. I don't care about a political stance. I don't care. It is what it is. That's just the way I view it. And with this whole BLM movement thing, and I can, a lot of people might think it's a terrorist group. You might have that opinion. There are a lot of things on there that people go on and rioting and breaking a bunch of things. I don't agree with that. The part of the BLM movement that I do agree with is just equal rights for everyone. That's all I want, is for everyone to have the same opportunities that I have, depending no matter what their skin color is. I think it's a simple message that might be diluted because of all the other stuff that goes on with this and all these peaceful protests. I'm doing parentheses around peaceful because a lot of them haven't been very peaceful. I think that's what we want. We want it's just equality for everyone in this nation, regardless of your skin color, regardless of where you came from. This land was built on immigrants when we came over from England, and people moved here to have a free life and to be able to do as they please, and have that freedom to try and have the American dream. So that being said, that's the part of the BLM that I agree with, is equality for everyone. So I'm not trying to get on here and be all political, but that's going to affect sports in some ways. I think they might lose viewership on NFL and baseball, and I think the NBA is going to be just fine. NFL will always still make a bunch of money. I don't see anything happening then. So that's just going to be interesting to kind of see what effects are going to happen because of the stance that these players are taking. And I had kind of talked about this a long time ago, and people talk about, well, they shouldn't be able to do this at work. Well, it's also the biggest platform they have and to use. So I think it's obviously very smart to use that platform. And if it's a message that you want to get out there, and it's a message that you're going to stand up for and fight for what you believe in, which this country was built off of, is fighting for your beliefs. They would be dumb not to take it. They would be dumb not to have these protests and these stances. So they're using their platform because it's probably one of the biggest platforms in sports, especially NFL. A lot of people are watching, millions. So they're using their platform. They want to, because it's a belief that they were standing up for and what they believe is right. There's a lot of crazy things going on in the world. The protests, the racial stuff going on, the coronavirus, are we sending our kids back to school? All this stuff going on. I just watch sports to get away from all those thoughts of negativity and everything going on. So I don't know which way you stand politically wise. But I'm also the type of person that if I have one stance on a political view and you have one stance on a political view, doesn't mean we can't coexist and get along and be nice to each other. There's a lot of people that believe that if you vote for Trump, you're a racist. That's not true. There's a lot of people that believe if you don't agree with the BLM movement, then you're a racist. That's not true. My wish is everyone would stop being so close-minded, and we'd all be able to live our lives in a free country. And that's another thing that goes back to all these protests or all these sports players kneeling for the anthem. It's a free country. They have the right to do so. They have the right, because of our freedom, to kneel for the anthem. Just as much as you have the right to stand for the anthem. I will stand for the anthem. But it doesn't mean that I'm a racist. It doesn't mean that I don't. It doesn't mean I don't like the people that kneel for the anthem. I get it. You have the freedom to do so because we do live in a nation that was built and military fought for freedom. We have these freedoms. We have these rights as humans. And we're just trying to fight for all those that don't feel like they have the same rights as me because I'm white. We're trying to fight for equality for everyone. So that's what it is. That's the part I believe in now. I know it gets a lot more political than that, and there's so much way over. And I just try and live my life and try to better myself every day for my family. I try and teach my kids just the way of life that I want them to live, and to treat everyone equally, to be good people. So I know it seems like politics are coming into sports. If you don't want to watch it, don't watch it. It's okay. It's your right and your freedom not to. If you want to watch it and you agree with it, by all means watch it. If you don't want to watch the national anthem because people will kneel for it, turn off your TV and turn it on 10 minutes later. Really no big deal. But sports are going to happen, and their protests are going to happen in them, and that's just is what it is. So I hope you guys continue to watch. I'm going to watch because I don't care. I don't care if they protest. Like I said, it is their right to protest. It's the freedom that they have to do so. Peacefully protesting is perfectly fine. No big deal. You're not hurting anybody. Kneeling for the flag isn't hurting anybody. It doesn't say in the Constitution that I had the freedom to do this unless your feelings get hurt. It doesn't. I had the freedom to do this because it's my right to have this freedom, and I will to peacefully protest. I'll take a knee to the flag. I'll put BLM on the mount, whatever. It's called the freedom, and that's why we live in this country. It's why a lot of people still continue to move to this country, because it's free. We have a lot of rights here that other countries don't have. Other countries, I can't get on the podcast show and talk about this, right? In other countries, some countries, I wouldn't be able to do that. But we're in America. We were born and picked to be in America. We are blessed to be in America. There's a lot of stuff going on. I know it seems like right now it probably doesn't feel the great to be in America, but it still is the best country and a free country where we can do these things. So I hope you guys have a good week. I hope you guys are able to take a listen to this. Look forward to PlayStation coming out this month with some new information on the PS5. I'm so excited. I'm so ready to get the PlayStation 5 in my hand and play it. I hope you guys like this segment breakdowns here, the fifth down, the main dish. I hope you guys are able to have a good week. Start back work tomorrow on Monday. And I hope you guys are able to stay safe and do your part of trying not to spread the coronavirus around. And hopefully we can get through this all together. And if you want to reach out to us, watsonsplaybook@gmail.com is the email. Feel free to talk to me about anything you want to. If you need a shoulder to lean on, if you want to talk about any of my breakdowns here that I talked about in this episode or previous episodes, if you want to get in contact with me and tell me you think all my opinions suck, whatever, be able to connect with me. Look for us on Watson_playbook at Twitch. Look for us at Watson's Playbook on YouTube channel as well, and a Facebook page. I thank you guys so much for listening to this episode. Thank you guys so much that are in the United States listening to this, and out of state as well. We got a couple people in Germany and France that listen to this podcast. So go ahead and take a listen. I hope you guys continue to like this, and I will continue to do it, something that I like as well. All right, guys, I hope that you guys are able to remember that happiness is a mindset, and to slow down in life and remember those small things.
If you could only have one guy, just one guy, that you put in the Pro Football Hall of Fame, I don't know why that would be. Maybe because there's a small Hall of Fame and there's a fire inspector that says you can only have one guy that can go in that Hall of Fame. That guy, that guy's going to be Brett Favre. He could do things on the field that nobody else could do. He could do things most people couldn't even imagine doing.